Welcome to the Poisoner's Cabinet. I'm Sinead.
And I'm Nick.
And this is your weekly podcast exploring the lives of the great poisoners and poisoning cases from across the centuries and creating curious cocktails inspired by the tales that we tell. And it's episode 31.
31.
31.
31.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
That's such an anti-climax of an age, isn't it? 31. You've kind of gotten to 30, your 20s are over, 31. Well, this is just going to get shitter, isn't it?
It's all downhill from now on.
Indeed. How are you, Nick?
I can't complain. It's the middle of the week. I got a gin.
Bye.
It's all not too shabby.
You're not supposed to drink before we have the cocktail.
I'm constantly drinking. This is what I do at the moment.
You can't complain because they won't let you.
Exactly.
Is there any poisonings this week?
No.
No.
I haven't actually left my office, so I have no idea.
You live at your office
I do
now.
live at my office at the moment. There could be swathes of corpses surrounding the building. Wouldn't have a clue.
Just picking up your discarded sandwiches.
Yeah.
Because you eat your own poison and you're immune to it now.
Yeah, exactly. It's all
like
good.
iocane powder, you're immune to it.
Like what?
Oh, have you not seen Princess Bride?
Oh, a long time ago.
How have you not watched it every year? Because it's amazing.
No, I haven't done that.
What? Oh my god.
Probably. God, I have no idea how long ago last.
Oh my god. But my husband has never seen it.
Oh, that's upsetting. So at least I have seen it.
Yes, you've seen it. Yes. It's like drugs with you, isn't it? Yes, I did try it once, so I'm cool.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I was trying to make an analogy. I'm not good at analogies.
When have I ever said that?
I didn't say that you'd said that. I was trying to think of an analogy of seeing something once and then being cool about it.
Right.
And then turned into drugs.
It didn't work, did it?
It didn't work.
No.
But we've all learned something. I think before this descends into more madness, maybe we should thank our Patreon subscribers.
We probably should. They are delightfully wonderful people.
They're very sexy.
Thank you so much to Emily Carroll.
To Bree McKieran.
To Remy House.
To Amy Allen Fitt.
And to Dorota.
Hooray!
Thank you so much for joining us on this exciting poisoning adventure.
Thank you so much. You are very sexy and very lovely, and enjoy all of the extra content that's on Patreon. There's quite a lot on there now.
Many exciting things going on there.
So some people will know, based on Instagram stories this week, this week's Patreon episode was took its toll on me somewhat. I had to go and have a lie down for a long time after covering Jonestown, which was dark, but people seem to like it. Started lots of people messaging me going, oh my god, did you know this? Did you know this?
No.
I'm like, I don't want to know anymore.
No,
I don't want to.
Don't need anymore. I have to block it all from my brain.
Well, Nick.
Hello.
Are you ready to drink cocktails and talk about poison?
Why did you have to do it in a strange, creepy voice?
Or we could drink poison and talk about cocktails.
Yeah, I want to do that one now.
Because it sounds reasonable.
That was the first one. It was just far too weird.
So you're going to go with the first one?
Well, why not? Okay.
Okay. We'll drink cocktails and talk about poison.
Way ahead of you.
Okay, we'll drink poison next week. Well, Nick, it is my story this week. Hooray, hooray, hooray. But, of course, we can't possibly tell a poisoning story without a cocktail in hand.
To do otherwise would be madness, I feel.
Sheer insanity.
Folly.
Now, as it's my story, I got to pick the secret ingredient, which is always inspired by the tale that we tell and will flavour the drink of the week.
Yes.
And this week's secret ingredient was candy.
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 I like candy.
Candy.
Yeah.
Candy very different in the UK as it is to America, would you say?
I don't know. I've only been to America twice. And I don't remember too much candy. So
You've seen films, surely.
I don't pay attention.
Candy can kind of be, American listeners correct us, you've got hard candy and soft candy over there, whereas in England, candy's more of a kind of it's hard candy.
That's what boiled sweets I would think of as
candy.
I may be entirely incorrect in my assumptions. So this cocktail could be hugely disappointing.
It's exactly. It could be boiled sweets boiled down.
Yes, pretty much that's what it is.
A Werther's original.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Well, with candy as the flavour of the week, what have you come up with, Nick?
Well, there are a couple of options. Now, a lot of the cocktails out there that if you Google candy cocktails, you're going to get some cocktails with candy floss, cotton candy.
I was wondering if you were going to do that. I have seen that done.
Yeah, you get it's a martini, but then you chuck a big ball of candy floss on top of it. It's a candy floss martini.
Well, then I've seen ones though where you pour the booze over it and it sort of disintegrates in and flavours and it looks very impressive.
It looks very impressive, but tastes vile.
Yeah, just sugar.
Because I'm not a fan of candy floss, because it is, I mean, I've got a sweet tooth. I love sugary things, but that is just sugar.
Yes, and it sticks to everything.
It sticks to everything, and it's all sticky, and no.
It's sticky, yeah.
It's sticky, yeah. Don't like sticky things. So I haven't gone for that.
Okay.
We've gone for a cocktail called A hard candy.
A hard candy.
A hard candy.
Oh, by name. Interesting.
Yes.
And I wonder, shall it taste of candy?
Well, it depends what flavour candy you have.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think it will taste of some candy.
A variety of things.
not all of them.
Well, maybe. Hard candy. Very nice. That was a film with Ellen Page.
Yes, and also a song by Counting Crows.
Oh.
Moving on.
Well, exciting, a hard candy. I think it is time that we go into the Poisonous Cabinet kitchen and mix up one of these bad boys. So we're going to go shake up a storm. See you in a minute.
See you in a bit.
And we're back.
Hello.
Hooray, a hard candy.
Yes.
Oh, it looks very candy-like.
It does. I wasn't expecting it to be quite so red.
Yes, it's very red and bold. And there's something at the bottom.
It's
of it.
it's some of the
Ingredients.
Some of the syrup from the cherry.
Ooh, nice. So talk us through it, Nick.
Right. Well, it is, as you can probably find by the smell. It's quite heavily cherry based.
Wow.
So if you like cherry candy, then this is the one for you.
Well, I love cherries.
Well, there we go.
Absolutely love cherries.
This is heavy cherry. So we have a cherry liqueur. We use cherry brandy for this one.
Ooh.
Then the recipe does actually call for a very particular type of Dutch cherry liqueur.
Okay.
That is actually quite difficult to get hold of here. So I have, gone for an alternative. We've used cherry brandy, but also with a bit of the juice from maraschino cherries themselves.
Oh, nice.
So like mixed together. Then we have vodka.
Nice.
And we have lemon juice.
Nice.
And we have Galliano.
Oh, Galliano. Bloody hell.
Indeed, throwing a bit of a curveball in there.
Oh, well, very candy-like, though, so it does smell very sweet.
Yes.
Incredibly sweet.
And there's sugar in there as well. Now, I've got a feeling, potentially, because the particular Dutch liqueur that's meant to be there is renowned for being quite bitter. So I think that's probably what the way the sugar in there is to balance that out. So this may be overly sweet because the cherry brandy is also not perhaps quite as bitter.
I'm ready for a sweet drink. Yeah. We haven't had one in a while.
No, indeed.
So let's dive in and taste this bad boy.
Try
okay,
hard
cheers.
candy.
Cheers.
Ooh. I think that's very nice.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, the lemon juice really works with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. I was expecting it to be too sweet.
Yeah,
and
that's
it is
sweet. It is sweet, but it's not toothachingly sweet. Like if we'd gone with a candy floss bubblegum martini or something like that, would have been.
Oh no, this is lovely. Second
it's
sip.
very nice.
I really like that.
The cherry and lemon combination is used in a whole host of cocktails that I've made quite a lot, but they're really gin based, like your aviations and your casino number ones and things like that. But this is being with vodka, you sort of lose that gin metallicness, and it's just a bit smoother because you haven't got those extra flavours that the gin brings. Cause it's just with vodka. That's actually very nice.
I'm here for that one actually, because normally I would say I've got quite a bitter palate, or I like sharp drinks, not necessarily bitter, but I like things that are sharp and more acidic. And a lot of cocktails these days are actually geared towards that kind of palate, rather than in the 90s you'd only ever get kind of here's a sex on the beach for a coat, slow comfortable screw, something that was just jokey and horrible. So I'm so used to having sharp and bitter and that kind of flavour. Every now and then, having something a little bit sweet, it's a bit of a treat. And that one,
it's really good.
That
should be making a reappearance in the rounds, I think.
Nice.
Excellent.
Do you think it tastes like a candy?
Probably if you have a cherry candy, I think it would.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that working.
So that's where we're going to crowbar that, Lincoln.
That's lip-smackingly good. Hard candies firmly in hand. Nick?
Yes?
Would you like to hear a story?
Oh, go on then.
Today we are going to tell the tale of Tillie Klimek. And thank you very much to very loyal fan of ours, Kendra, for sending in the suggestion.
Oh, nice.
Looked into it, hadn't heard of her before, then was just like, yes, 100% yes. So come with me now, Nick, to early 20th century Chicago. Chicago. I'm going to be thinking about the 1910s, 1920s.
I like a bit of 1920s.
Oh, yes. You got to think of the moles and the guys, gangsters.
Right. I think they said moles, and I thought, who are the moles?
No, your moles. Like your gangsters mole.
Oh,
It didn't come across well.
Really,
the mole people of Chicago.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, are we going like in the subways?
They have been vanquished and the gangsters have taken over.
The mole wars have finished.
So the emerging gangster scene. Okay, so let's face it, that crime is not uncommon in Chicago. It's emerging around there and it will develop a reputation in this area. And indeed, if you were a femme fatale back in those days, wanting to do away with a troublesome beau and evade justice, Chicago was a city to be in. Plenty of women, all glossy set hair and red lips, walked away from the courts after being accused of murder, and they probably did it. couple of famous names. You've got Belva Garner and Beulah Annan, who were the inspiration for Chicago, the musical.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I think I'm saying their names right. But these are two real women accused of murdering their husbands or their partners. Probably did it, but they pretty. So they got away with it. Literally,
Nice.
walked free.
Did they do it with a song? Was that their defence?
With a deadly tango. That's what they did. No, yeah, they sheared their ankle and people fainted. So you can imagine, obviously, the beautiful gangsters, moles, that's what they are, and the mole people coming behind them. They were the ones who did it. This was the place to be if you wanted to get away with murder, as long as you were pretty. In Tillie's case, while not hideous, she was not the sultry femme fatale of Chicago fame.
But did she think she was?
She acted like she was.
Right, okay.
So Tillie was born in Poland in 1876. Somewhere.
Somewhere in Poland. Let's go with Poland.
Somewhere in Poland, we don't know. We don't know. Yeah, she came to America when she was an infant with her parents, and she was part of there was a massive migration of Polish immigrants, particularly to Chicago in the late 1800s. You've got massive Polish communities over there. They don't really speak English, you know, they set up all sorts of communities. So she was in the near northwest side of Chicago.
It's an excellent side.
It's an excellent side. It's near. The communities are mostly comprised of peasant immigrants. So in 1895, she wed her first husband, John I can't pronounce his surname. I'm not going to lie.
John.
John M. Most of the others, I've given this a damn good go. That one I looked at and went, fuck that. Yes, in 1895, she marries him, but 19 years old. And they lived happily ever after.
The end.
So I just wanted to tell a nice story this week about a Polish woman who came to America and she married the love of her life and then it was all fine. I've had a hell of a week. Leave me alone. No. Of course they didn't live happily ever after. What kind of podcast would this be if they did? They lived seemingly happy for quite a while. They had children. Tillie was a pleasant woman and she was known for her wonderful cooking. Oh, she could cook up all sorts of Polish delicacies. Do you know many Polish dishes?
Not particularly.
No, not
No,
particularly. Go on then.
Well, borscht is Polish.
Oh, you see, you've made a fatal error.
Have I?
You've called it borscht. It's got to be pronounced barsht.
Oh, fair enough.
Barsht. Because borscht is the Russian.
Well, that's me not going to Poland ever again.
Yeah, exactly. You've got golumki. No, not that at all. Golumki. Stuffed fine leaves with rice and gherkins and cubes of ham. And pierogi.
Pierogi, yes.
Pierogi, yes, lovely stuffed dumplings. Thank you so much to our mutual friend Cassia, who sent me all this information and the pronunciation guides.
And you still fucked it up.
I still fucked it up. But I knew enough to say barsht instead of borscht. Yeah, you. On the side of the Russians the whole time. Tillie's life is pretty normal until the age of about 38, when in 1914, her poor husband, he dies! They said it was a heart complaint. She lied! Now, John's
You're
desperate.
going all out this week, aren't you?
I love this story so much. This is just mad. No, John's death was not a surprise to her, for she had foreseen it.
Oh, had she?
Oh, yes, you see, Tillie was a psychic.
In her pierogi.
In her pierogi.
She'd
She
seen
climbed
it,
into the
like,
dumplings.
And in the bowl.
Oh, that's another kind of divination.
Divination,
Yes,
yeah,
telling
divination
the future
by dumplings.
by dumplings.
I'm sure it is.
Just eating it, I shall get fat. No, she was a psychic. For a long time, Tillie had spoken of having second sight and having visions that she just sort of told random people in the street. They usually involved when neighbourhood animals would die.
Is she saying this with a hammer in her hand?
Yeah, these rats, they're not long for this world. Dogs that barked too loudly oddly died. She could foresee it. But she told a friend that she had dreamt of finding her husband's corpse on a certain day that month. And sure enough, on that very day...
What are the chances?
He fell ill and he died. She has the sight.
She has the gift.
She has the gift. Lucky too that he died of natural causes, because Tillie was able to collect a rather sizable insurance
Convenient.
check. $1,000.
Well, the trick.
So, shored up with cash and fancy furs, probably. Whatever you buy with $1,000 if you're a poor Polish immigrant.
Oh, the dumplings.
More beetroot for the borscht.
More beetroot.
There
A
can never be
larger
enough.
saucepan to make more things.
With her saucepan and her beetroot and all of her dumplings, Tillie went on the hunt for another husband. She was
Who can
lonely.
resist that?
Just like,
What
follow the
a-
beetroot.
what a dowry that is.
Yes, she found another one a month later. A month later, she dried her eyes. Joseph Roskowski,
go
who
with that.
lived nearby. Yet 3 months later, He's dead.
Oh my god, what is
No, surely not. But luckily there's another life insurance check. Oh, and some cash that he had around the house as well. And she just took that. 2 husbands in the ground. Poor Tillie, poor Tillie. But she's a lonely woman. Turns out she had a lover on the side. A man called Guskowski.
What happened to the boyfriend? Tell me.
No, yeah. So her and her lover were quite happy. She met his sister. High praise. Sister came over and took tea with them, and they shared some lovely candies together. There is another occurrence of candy later. But candy, lovely. They all share it, that lovely pastime of sharing candy. The sister fell ill after coming to visit, but she recovered.
Too many candies.
She ate too many candy. Greasy
That's what it
bitch.
is.
She was just sitting there with a box, and they were like, please, those were for everyone. She recovered. She was fine. But Tillie and Loverboy took a little trip together, as lovers would do.
As
they went to Milwaukee, I believe it was. And it was on this trip, she's nudging him, literally nudging him in the ribs.
Off a cliff.
Well, no, they're not married. They're not married, and she wants a marriage proposal. She wants to get married. She's a good Polish woman. She deserves love. He's kind of, I don't know. Somehow during this pursuit for a proposal, she manages to tell him that she has killed her first 2 husbands.
Right, okay. Yeah, I'm sensing the marriage proposal may not have been speedily forthcoming after that.
Yeah, it's not the way to win a man.
No, it's not often the way to someone's heart.
No, and they have an interesting dynamic. The boyfriend rightly goes, no, thanks.
No.
And she says, well, if you don't marry me, I'll report you to the authorities for immorality, because they've been shagging.
Right.
Without being married. She says, yes, I'll report you if you don't marry me. Boyfriend says, well, if you do that, I may have to bring up the fact that you've just said you've killed your first 2 husbands.
And you were also there for the shagging.
Bring it on. And she's like, all right then.
You've got me, you cunning man.
Fine. Enjoy your candies. Oddly enough, they part ways. And oddly enough, yet still, Loverboy is dead within 2 weeks after their parting. He did. Now, Tillie, you'd think after this, okay, the boyfriend doesn't want to get married, 2 husbands in the ground, just take some self-care. Just focus on you. Build your world, Tillie.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what she was thinking.
Exactly. Just do some Netflix and chill. You're fine. Eat a tub of ice cream. Go on a silent retreat. Scream into the ocean.
Nope, none of that.
Tillie shows no signs of slowing down. She weds Frank Kupasek in 1919. Got a 3rd husband. Settle down, woman. No, her voracious appetite for the male honeys could not be quelled. No, she soon had another lover. John. Let's call him John.
John.
His name was John.
Probably we should call him that then.
Well, I think a lot of the men in this are called John and Joseph. They're very popular Polish names, so you're just going to have to keep up, guys. But another lover, John, who would often stop by the house, it was said. It was observed by a gravedigger, apparently. In some sort of...
just walking by
Shakespearean...
in case someone needed some graves dug.
I think there was a graveyard nearby. Some Hamlet sort of scene of him I've seen. I tell you, I've seen it. I've seen a lot of things around here.
It's like the idea of like a door-to-door gravedigger. Sort of.
This man actually later gave evidence allegedly in court. They got a gravedigger who had seen some shit, and he gave evidence. But according to this, the lover would stop by after the husband went to work, and he would kiss her on the porch.
My God, the scandal!
Never heard it called that before. Come on,
Really?
That is a great joke.
Is it? Is it really?
But as the months passed, clearly the marriage had taken a turn for the worse. Despite her having a lover who came to kiss her, did not do much else, apparently. Her poor husband, poor Frank, number 3, fell ill. He took to his bed, complaining of stomach aches and pains. Tillie, the ever-dutiful wife, sat at his bedside.
As one should.
Knitting away. He asked her what she was knitting, and she said that it was a mourning veil for the funeral.
Nice. That's excellent.
What's more, she would greet her husband when he woke up each morning by leaning over him going, "It won't be long now," or "You'll be dead soon."
Nice. Was she wearing the mourning veil at the time?
Knitting, just over him knitting. Won't be long now.
Just dressed entirely in black.
Good morning, dear. You're gonna die. Not only that,
But there's more.
there's more. In a conversation with her landlady, Tillie commented how she'd seen the most marvellous bargain, a coffin for just $30. Could she store it in the house?
Well, you never know when you might need one.
Well, yeah, the landlady's like, why do you need a casket? Tillie responded cheerfully, my man, he's only got 2 inches to live.
That's fantastic. I love that.
2 inches to live.
How fast can she knit?
Knit, good woman, knit.
I mean, that could be days or minutes, depending, really.
The veil that she would make, the black veil, some say it was a hat, she would end up wearing it at her trial. But I hope you can sense there's a trial coming.
One would hope.
But all of this was part of the reason that people thought she was a psychic. And genuinely, hundreds of people in her community believed that she had supernatural powers. This is a press statement. She could predict deaths.
Right. Yes.
Now, in hindsight, I think we're all reaching the same conclusion, but people believe this, and they were all talking about her psychic abilities. They were all talking about how she knew when her husbands would die. She knew when dogs would die in the street because they were barking so much. She just knew. How did she know all of these things?
No one even questioning any of this. Because even in some of the most ludicrous cases that we've covered, there's some little man in the corner going, "Oi, wait a minute," because that's just a bit weird. Even if no one listens to them, there's someone going, "This doesn't seem quite right."
Well, right now, no. Right now, everyone is. She has put herself out as a psychic. She's put herself out as a witchy kind of. Yeah, I have the vision. I have the dreams. She's obviously persuasive.
Oh, quiet.
Or she's just gone when people have gone. Oh my god! You know when your husband's going to die while she's holding poison. Are you psychic? Sure.
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
not? That's absolutely fine. But soon, Frank was dead.
Oh, what a surprise!
Dead in 1921. He lay in his coffin in the parlour, as was the wont. Tillie marked the occasion, as
With a
any
big
good
party.
widow would do. She blasted out dance music on the Victrola. Literally, loud, cheery music on the Victrola. She's there dancing, dabbing, whatever. At one point, she leans over the coffin, lifts him up by his ears, and shouts, "You old devil, you won't get up anymore!"
Right.
Psychic. Clearly.
Oh,
Clearly.
I mean, clearly, entirely psychic, absolutely.
Clearly. I don't know if someone has seen this.
Spiritual connection with the dead, I can sense that. Yeah.
Definitely. She knows how to touch them and commune. It's like the dead zone, that she touched him and she just literally pulls him by the ear.
Right.
There we are.
Okay.
So he did.
Yes, she's insane.
She gets $675 of insurance money. So she's amassing quite a bit from the other ones.
Bit of cash going on there.
Now, another man from the neighbourhood would attend the funeral of dear Frank and would end up being Tillie's last husband.
She's now on husband 3?
4.
So Frank was husband 3.
Yes.
So this new chappie is husband 4.
He's going to be husband 4.
He's going to be husband 4.
And she's had lovers
and
in between.
lovers in between, absolutely.
Yes. Joseph Klimek was 50 years old, gentle, hard-working widower. There are some people who said he'd been trouble in his life. He just seemed like a nice guy, and he just needed a good woman to look after him. He said, he was looking for a home.
Aww.
His friends sort of point in the direction. Oh, Tillie, she's a widow. She seems fine. No one apparently was watching at the funeral with the ear business.
Jolly.
She's psychic. Go for it. She can cook.
Well,
Have you seen the dumplings?
Absolutely. Have you seen the dumplings?
Joseph approached her for courtship, and it worked. They were soon shacked up.
The colloquial term for at the time.
Shacked up. Shacked up. I'm thinking
that's how it was reported in the press.
Probably, yes. To be fair, I'm thinking that Tillie did not put up much of a fight on the first date.
No, I'm thinking.
I think she's giving away the farm very much based on previous experience. So, 50-year-old widower, who has been alone for a long time. Tillie's like, take a look at these dumplings. There we are. And he apparently loved her knitting and her crocheting and her lovely, lovely cooking. He also was reported to say later, as soon as we were married, she burned up all the photos of her husbands and man friends. How many did she have in the house? And she tore up her letters. She had my picture over the mantle, and that was all.
Quite right, as it should be. Was she already knitting his morning clothes.
She was knitting a t-shirt that said, "I'm going to kill you." She's measuring him, actually, at the first date. Like, just check this coffin. I've seen a fucking bargain on coffins. There's 2 for 1. Come on, man. Come on. No, Tillie wasn't one for maintaining married bliss. After a while, there's no inference that anything was really going wrong on Joseph's side. Some people would later claim that he was an alcoholic, and there were some suggestions maybe the marriage wasn't that happy on that front. And maybe we should take that into account. We don't know really what happened in any of the marriages with Tillie. However,
I think potentially murder is a somewhat extreme reaction to whatever's going on in the marriage.
Tillie goes to see her cousin called Nellie. Tillie and Nellie.
Tillie and Nellie.
Nellie Kulik was also widowed. Also lost her husband. Yeah. And the two of them sit with their tea, swilling their tea, I think. Tillie says that she's not that happy in the marriage. Yeah, she doesn't really like it. She doesn't care for it. Maybe she should need a way out. Nellie suggests, "Why don't you just get a divorce from Joseph?" And Tillie said, No, I shall get rid of him some other way. This is enough for Nellie to be completely on board with whatever scheme she has. So she goes straight to the cupboard, and what does she pull out?
Some sort of rat poison, or
would you like to? Yes, a very particular kind of rat poison.
Husband be gone or something.
No, it's one we've used before.
Oh right. Oh God, I can't remember.
It's Rough on Rats.
Rough on Rats.
Rough on Rats comes out. Rough on Rats, which is used across America. Put your cat out of business. Actually has a later read. It's got a label on it that says "Don't die at home."
Right.
I don't know why. And what's in the rat poison?
I'm thinking probably arsenic.
Arsenic alarm, arsenic alarm. Woo! Yes, so Nellie just goes, "Oh, well, okay, that was a short discussion. Here's the rat poison." Off Tillie goes home, and into the food goes the poison, little by little. And Joseph begins to feel pretty unwell. Yep. He's bedridden, feeling awful, showing all the clear signs of being poisoned. And he receives a visit from his brother, John. John is immediately suspicious.
Good.
Is that voice of reason.
Long at last, someone is suspicious.
That guy who comes along going, "What the fuck is going on in here?" Mainly because John is dying. He's rigid. Tillie's probably dancing around the house.
Yeah, she's knitting something in a corner.
Yes, she's just got various funeral outfits that she's asking his opinion on. Not only that, if you need any more proof, that while he's there, one of their dogs eats some food off of the husband's plate and keels over dead.
Yep. That'll be a fairly strong indicator, I feel.
Yes. Tillie also offers the man some soup. He tastes it. He goes, "It tastes weird." He's very freaked out at this point and going, "We need to get a doctor in here because there is no doctor. Whatever you're doing is not working." And Tillie's like, No. It's fine. He insists a doctor comes. Husband has to go straight to hospital.
Good. Long loss.
And there they test him and they find that he is stuffed with arsenic.
What a surprise.
He is moments away from death, but they save him. They get him into hospital. And of course, it all comes crumbling down. Tillie is arrested for murder. And as she's taken away in the squad car, she says to the officer who was sitting in the car with her, "The next one I want to cook dinner for is you." Ooh,
right.
Chilling.
That's... She's knitting at the time.
You're just obsessed with this knitting, aren't you?
The mad knitting going on. This constant knitting of veils and funeral bonnets and all sorts of
all
things
the
going
funeral
on.
dye.
I'm going to knit you a coffin.
A coffin cover.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not enough knitted coffin covers,
nice little
are there?
crocheted coffin cover, yeah.
Keep it warm, snug. Aid the decomposition. So off she goes to jail and the investigation begins. The husband's bodies, all of her previous husband's bodies, are dug up and they are found to contain lethal doses of arsenic. Nellie, the cousin, is also arrested for providing the poison.
Good.
And they look into Tillie's past more, and that's when they start to see far more suspicious deaths surrounding her. 2 other cousins within the family, it's quite a large family, ask them to look into the deaths, ask the authorities to look into the deaths of several people within their family who have all been to see Tillie at one point. 4 of their siblings have died after having dinner at Tillie's house. Something about a family spat that ended...
How has no one raised this until now? Oh yeah, I mean, half of Chicago's dead. We don't.
Why anyone went to her house for dinner beggars belief, because yes, there's all of these deaths. Tillie's own children had reportedly fallen ill several times after eating with their mother, but they never died. 2 other women in her building, pretty, young, lovely women, she'd brought round a lovely selection of candy.
More
Again,
candies.
more candy.
Arsenic-laced candy.
And they took them and they became ill. More and more cases emerging, missing people, child deaths. It's also said within the family that Nellie's first husband died of poisoning, and it seems that her own twin babies and a granddaughter died under her care in suspicious circumstances. So between the 2 cousins, there's a lot of weird shit going on.
Well, that generally explains how she was quite so free to go, yeah, here you go, have some rat be gone.
Exactly, and I don't understand why they would put it out as a defence. Oh, have you thought of divorcing him? No, I want to do it another way. Well, that's justification for rat poisoning. It's not like, oh, you can ask for this, and okay, fine, that just justifies the means. Yes, the dogs that bark too much, all the dogs in the neighbourhood were like, I want this investigated. They could speak, it was amazing. And people are fearful, people are terrified, because this makes huge headlines. It's sensational press, and at the time you can imagine what kind of amazing media storm there was. Was this...
How much is this? We've come across it before, when you get like, oh yes, this person has killed someone, therefore every murder or every death in Chicago, she is guilty of it.
It's possible, because people maybe want to lie blame with
Yes,
Tillie.
have an explanation with something.
Because one of the things that people talk about is they say, is this a poison ring? Now, this is just before the Philadelphia poison ring, which we've covered before. But people are saying, is this a system of all the women in this Polish community? It's a syndicate of female Bluebeards. And this is the High Priestess, as she's called. So people are doing this theory that she is the head of some sort of poisoning ring, and all the other deaths around her and the many in the community can be attributed to her. In actual fact, maybe people are just doing away with their kids or their husbands or their friends and family or their dogs. And she's the scapegoat. So yeah. But what a scapegoat she is.
Well,
people are happy to point the finger at Tillie. And she doesn't make it easier for herself. Tillie, she's allowed to visit her husband in the hospital before the trial. He has many questions.
I can well imagine, yes.
Along the lines of,
Why
are you poisoning me? What the actual fuck, woman? And every time I can imagine how this is said. Well, I'm imagining how I would say it. Every time he asks her loads of questions, and she's said to say, I don't know, don't bother me.
I can actually imagine exactly how you would say that.
I don't know. Oh my god, leave me alone. God, this is boring. Apparently that's what she does. She also, while batting away these questions, overhears him asking the nurse for a glass of water. And she shouts at the nurse, if he gives any trouble to you, take a 2x4 board and hit him over the head with it.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
Then she gave him a kiss and left.
It sounds more and more like you all the time. Your poor husband.
It's perfectly reasonable. Hit him on the head with a hammer. I love you. At the trial, Nellie is seen to be good-natured, prone to hysterics, for reasons I'll come on to. But she claimed it was all made up by her son, and that, you know, she's sort of panicking and saying this is all just, it's not true, it's not true. Tillie, on the other hand, is icy, silent, very cold and calm, giving nothing away. The only thing that she seems to react against is when she's accused of stealing from the dead, and she shouts out, I didn't rob nobody. She cries.
I killed loads of them, but I didn't rob them.
She doesn't seem to deny
I have
the
limits,
killings.
you know.
I'm not some common.
How dare you?
Some reports say she doesn't say anything. Others that say when they read out the roll call of death of all the people she's accused of killing, she's like, yeah. Well, what else was I supposed to do?
Yes. Well, it was boring. It was a Tuesday. I finished my book.
I've done all the knitting that I could. In the press, Tillie is called a fat, squat Polish peasant woman. 45 years old, but looking 55. Oh, cold! With a lumpy figure.
Oh, God.
Capacious hands and feet. Capacious?
Large.
Large? Yeah.
Can hold many things. Can juggle well.
Can juggle well all of the beetroots. And dull brown hair skinned back into a knot at the back of her head. Now, this is pretty harsh, I think. I've seen pictures of Tillie, and they vary. You know, she's not a beauty. She's not that unattractive. But this is the world we live in with the press, because they're used to the glamorous murderesses.
And also, pretty people don't do things like that.
Pretty people do things, but
the pretty rich people have never done anything wrong. Poor ugly people They do all the bad things.
They do. And this is proof of proof need be.
Exactly.
Tests are ordered by the court that end up showing that both Tillie and Nellie had the intellects of people no higher than an 11-year-old child.
Okay.
Now, they can't speak English, and they
Yeah.
can't understand English very well. But they say that they are mentally deficient and that they are suffering from some sort of dementia.
Or they just don't understand the questions. Because the English is not their first language.
Yeah. To counter that, if there's a bit of sympathy, there's a little bit of me that loves Tillie. Because Tillie and Nellie's cells were quite close to each other. And while Nellie is a little bit more earnest and a bit more kind of, she may have done some wrong shit there. But apparently Tillie teased her constantly that every time the guards were coming to just bring her up for questioning or for anything routine, that Tillie would just lean over going, "Oh, they're going to hang you today. They're coming.
God, she reminds me of you. That's exactly what you would do.
And Nellie would go into hysterics, absolutely hysteric, going, "Oh, they're going to hang you. Oh, you're fucked."
Yep. Seems very familiar.
Yeah, shut up. I'm a kind soul. Tillie insisted that her previous husband had died from alcohol poisoning. She denied culpability, and when she did speak, she said, "I loved them and they loved me. They just died same as other people. I was not responsible for that. I could not help if they wanted to die."
Now, that's a curious turn of phrase.
That is a translation.
Nah.
So you've got to think, translation is that? Well,
Yeah,
it sounds
potentially.
weird, but in the end, Tillie was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. While she narrowly avoided the death penalty, that was still the harshest sentence that had ever been given to a woman at the time. Tillie appeared underwhelmed as the verdict was read, and she apparently remarked when the guards led her back to prison, "It's hot in there."
Get your priorities right.
But it's warm.
It's warm. I can't possibly go back in there.
Just get me a fan. I've knitted everything in there.
Exactly, yes. My 15 knitted layers are so warm.
Nellie was acquitted. There were some inferences that, her trial was a bit of a mess.
Yeah, it doesn't have a huge amount of evidence against that.
Well, they did dig up her husband, her first husband. He did have arsenic in his system. He had quite a bit of arsenic. But there was some sort of feeling that because they had Tillie, they had a high priestess of the Bluebeard ring, that was enough.
Well, yeah, what more do you need?
Let's just lay all the blame with her. Nellie was acquitted, it all sort of fell apart, and off she went. Tillie was a good prisoner, and she did say when people asked how she was that she liked the food, and she caught up on all of her spring sewing.
Excellent.
Tillie would die 13 years later in prison in 1936. And in one very good article, and several other pieces since then, it was suggested that if Tillie had been pretty, she would have got off, because others certainly did before her. And that is the story.
That is an excellent story.
Of Tillie Klimek.
I've never heard that story, and I like that story
Isn't
a lot.
it great?
This
and
is
thank you
brilliant.
so much, Kendra, for suggesting
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. I've not even come across that on any of my Googlings of episodes to do, so fantastic.
It's a crazy kind of rabbit hole one. There was a little fact afterwards, and again, one of the articles I read, but it was said the house that Tillie lived in Chicago was, with husband number 3, 924 Winchester, shows up on Foursquare as Old Lady Tillie Klimek's haunted house.
Nice.
And I don't think it's open to the public or anything, but it's still there. You can see it. So there you
Brilliant.
go.
Oh, that's a good story.
It's a good one, isn't it? I am here for Tillie the whole
Yeah, I can see that, right.
If you're gonna be a mad bitch,
She needs to teach you how to knit now.
just sitting next to your husband, yep, any day now, darling. I might now wake up my husband and sort of say that, "Good morning, darling, you're gonna die today.
Yeah.
Alright, enjoy work, you're gonna die." Not long now. Actually, in COVID, it's quite quite scary. He may leave me. I don't really want that.
Perhaps not yet. maybe give it a while.
I have to find a man to kiss me on the porch. All my life I've waited. Yeah, there was some really interesting pieces about, this is true, and this is what the Chicago musical is based on.
Yeah.
These killers, these femme fatale, sexy, beautiful, blonde or, red-lipped women who were able to go to court and actually fucking did kill their husbands, shot them in crime of passion or murder. No. And they got off because they flirted with the judge, they batted their eyelids at the jury, they were just simpering and pretty and just made out that they'd have sex with everyone.
Yeah. I suppose at this time as well, I mean, jury is made up of men. You don't have any women on the jury at
Absolutely.
At this time, so it's 12 men, and you've got this attractive woman flirting. Probably half of them are going to go, yeah, all right, she didn't do nothing. Here's my number. I love you.
Please come and see me. Oh, you wily temptress, you wildcat.
Oh, I'm dead.
It's very, very old-fashioned white male energy of just kind of like, no, it's fine, I can tame her.
Well, exactly, yes.
But if she's big, then probably all the jury sitting there going, oh, it's a murder case, it's a woman murder case, oh, she's fair. And the pictures, there's various pictures of Tillie and Nellie, and they're not beauties, and they don't dress particularly beautiful. They're Polish peasants.
Well, exactly. They're sort of working class immigrants, so they don't have a chance to get fancy frocks and go to fancy places where they need to get all dolled up sort of thing. So
speakeasy.
Exactly. Average
flappers.
People.
Exactly. But Tillie did all right. She wasn't short of male attention.
Or quite.
And I don't think that could... I mean, if she was that hideous as they put it out in the newspaper, then there would be a limit, surely.
Well, I don't know. And I also think potentially... well, no, I'm thinking at the time it was perhaps people looking for something different.
What?
Well, I don't know. If men were looking for someone...
Well, they're all Polish men in her community.
Yeah, exactly. So there's probably a limited sort of pool to go for. If they're looking for a Polish woman within that community, then there's a finite number of those.
And she's going to be reliable, and she's a good cook, and she can knit.
She's a good cook. Keeps a good home, and she can knit and all that.
And these
sort of
men,
stuff.
and they wouldn't be welcome really into necessarily the fancy speakeasies with the glamorous murderesses.
Exactly.
And she made a good dumpling.
She made a good dumpling.
I've no idea if she made dumplings, to be honest.
Well, I imagine she probably did.
I'm sure she did. She made some good Polish meals.
Yeah.
There were many. There was a moment where I was going to go, "Ooh, what Polish ingredients, can we do?" I know we did with the Bison-Gross vodka with George Chapman.
I did look at beetroot cocktails, and they all look desperately unpleasant. Because I'm not a fan of beetroot, I must say.
Are you not?
No.
Ooh, I like a bit of beetroot.
No, I'm not.
I do like a bit of beetroot.
I'm not a
diced
fan
up, roast
of
it,
beetroot.
have it in a salad.
Have it in a cocktail. Cover it in vodka. Be fine.
I think we should have a beetroot. It's very, very good for you, actually. Beetroot juice, if you have a hangover, one of the best things you can have.
I still don't like it.
You don't have to like it, Nick. So there we go. The story of Tillie Klimek. Hope you enjoyed it. Femme fatales. What do you think of femme fatales? Do you have some favourite femme fatales from fiction or from real life that we should talk about?
Or can we go and watch Chicago now?
We could just go and watch Chicago.
I want to go and watch Chicago.
Chicago. PK joke. I haven't seen Chicago in ages.
No, neither have I. A long time, many years. So it's a very good show.
It's a very good show.
Go and watch that. Don't listen to this nonsense. Go and watch that.
Listen to this and then go and watch it. For God's sake, Nick.
Well, it's at the end. They've already listened to it, so
Listen to the soundtrack. Maybe I'll just splice some of that in. They had it coming. Or me and Nick will just act out Cell Block Tango.
So we'll just do the Cell Block Tango.
That's what the Friday night video will be after a few more of these. It'll just be us dancing, and just jumping around with scarves.
Excellent. I'm there for it. Shall I get my best lipstick out? It'll be delightful.
I'll get my second best lipstick out, not wasting it on you.
Ooh, harsh.
So, guys, if you want to see us dance around to Cell Block Tango, please vote. Vote with your words and your comments on social media on every single platform, because the more you do, we have to do it. It's the law.
No, we don't.
I get to force Nick to do it. Please do comment on this episode, on all of our posts on social media. Come and have a chat. Send us messages. Send us suggestions for new stories that we can cover. Your favourite poisonous stories or murders or anything particular that you want us to do. And cocktail suggestions.
Try a hard candy. The rest will be up this evening, so do go and enjoy that. I very much recommend it. It was surprisingly tasty.
It was delicious.
Absolutely. Go for one of those. Yeah, the rest will be out on social later. And yeah, let us know if you enjoy.
Do you have a little think about, what have you got in your cupboard? What cocktail staple ingredients do you guys always have in? Depending where you are in the world, we don't know. We always have to order in strange shit in here for whatever whim Nick fancies. But you know what? If you've got suggestions or cocktails you'd like us to make, classic or new or strange ones that you found, send them through.
I
Please, sis.
always want cocktails.
Send new suggestions through for Nick to research because he loves all that shit. And obviously come and check us out on Patreon if you can. Loads of extra content on there of all shapes and varieties. And our merch is still available on Teespring. We've seen people getting mugs and stickers and t-shirts, and it's so delightful. I'm so excited.
It's very exciting. Well, thank you very much for joining us for another exciting episode of Poisonous Cabinet.
Send us suggestions. Send us what you'd like us to see. Send us videos of you dancing to musicals. That is what we want. We have been the people inside the Poisonous Cabinet. We will see you next week. And remember, your loved ones are trying to kill you.
You know, some guys just can't hold their arsenic.
He had it coming,